I'm sitting in studio with my guest, director Wendy Gerard. She's more than a director. We'll talk about that as well. But she is the director of the prize-winning play called Shades. And on phone, I have Paula Kaplan, who is the author of this wonderful prize-winning play, and we're going to talk about it in detail. So, Paula and Wendy, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
Glad to be with you.
Well, Paula, I want to talk a little bit about this show, Shades. It's won first prize in both Pen and Brush, New York City, and LDI Productions, Hollywood. Has won honorable mentions in Writer's Digest contest, and New York's New Works of Merit contest. Paula did a reading at the LA Women's Theater Project, Women in the Arts Festival, among other things. And the play was done at the Women's Arts Festival in a couple of places, also locally. And it's a double award-winning play that garnered standing ovations, and it's going to be reprised as a local benefit for the USO on December 19th at 2 o'clock. We'll get into the details of where that's going to be. But, Paul, I want to start with you. Talk a little bit about Shades. We don't want to give the whole story away, but let's tell the listeners what it is about.
Well, it's about three members of a family: a father and an adult daughter, an adult son, and then another woman whom the daughter meets and becomes friends with. And it's about how people deal with difficulty and fear and loss differently, depending partly on their personality, partly on whether they've been raised as a woman or a man, and partly on their experience based on what racial or ethnic category they're in. And it's about what it means to be an American, and what if you're close to somebody, a family member or a friend, and you really care about them desperately, but what if you don't agree with their politics, and what if that's really important to both of you? How do you go on without having this rupture in your relationship? So it's a very human story. It's somebody who saw the reading in the Women in the Arts Festival said, I felt like I was sitting in somebody's living room watching them.
Yes, and it's a very timely subject. So many people have family members involved in Iraq or Afghanistan, have had members involved in previous wars, and certainly it is timely. Now, Wendy Gerard is the director, and I want to talk a little bit about her, Paula, if you hold on a little bit.
I just want to say I'm so lucky that Wendy is the director.
Well, yes.
It's a gift.
Yes, and she's developed, produced, and directed the world premieres of numerous plays in New York City and L.A., several of which have been published. Some of them she's developed included Thoughts, the first all-black musical by a black playwright. She went on to the American Playwrights Festival. There was a hit show that she did there, produced by Israel Horowitz. She's done any number of things. She also helped develop a difficult Borning from the published and unpublished works of Sylvia Plath. She had the honor of casting Richard Dreyfuss and Lionel Stander in the first reading of Mr. Big Shot. Well, we can go on and on. We've got to have Wendy on another time to cover everything, but we've got her here today to talk about the staged reading Shades. And Wendy, I just want to mention a quote that I have in the material that I received. And you said, in 45 years of doing theater, none of us had ever seen an audience give a unanimous standing ovation to a staged reading of a play talking about Shades. Now, that's incredible. Can you elaborate on that a little more?
Well, it was quite a surprise, I must say. We had a sold-out house at the Women in the Arts Festival, and the minute the audience realized, the instant they realized the play was over, as one, they rose to their feet spontaneously and applauded. It was amazing. I was stunned.
Well, it's incredible, and we are so lucky the fact that this is going to be reprised as a local benefit for the USO. I'm planning on attending. That's December 19th, and it's going to be at the Villa Portofino in Palm Desert. Why don't you give some of the details as to how people can obtain tickets? They can also go just to the show or and stay on for the Playwright Supper. So would you talk about those
Sure.
details?
Yeah, that's right. We're having the staged reading with the Playwrights Buffet Supper, December 19th, 2 p.m., as you said. The buffet will begin about 4 p.m. They can make reservations before or by December 14th with Julie Miller at Villa Portofino.
And I want to emphasize also again for the listeners that the play is at 2 p.m. and followed by this buffet at 4
The Playwrights, the Playwrights Buffet Supper, yes.
And you'll be there. Paula, you're going to be there. I know that.
Yes.
And the supper will be, the wonderful thing is that the entire cast and crew, so myself, Paula, of course, the playwright will be there at the supper with the audience. We have a Broadway cast of actors.
Mention the cast.
Well, Alex Corey, who's a veteran of many Broadway shows. Chris Pennick, who's done a lot of Broadway. Trina Parks, also Broadway. She was also the first African-American James Bond girl. She was Thumper. And
Every man I know says, "Oh, Thumper."
right, it's true. It's true.
Well, just the name is interesting.
Right. So all the actors will be staying for the supper, as well as I said, Paula, the playwright, myself, the director, and our producer, Anne Greer, who's done a lot of theater in L.A. She was very involved with doing plays for the schools in L.A. I think they did plays for over 300,000 students and did a production with KCET, which won 2 local L.A. Emmy Awards.
Well, we have our local Anne Greer, who is
Yes.
the daughter of Gloria Greer.
That's
That's one and the same.
That's one and the same.
That's right.
And it's thanks to her and Paula's mother, Tack Kaplan, that Paula and I actually met. So it was very fortuitous.
Yes. Well, Paula, what would you like to add about the actors and the way the show went over?
Well, I want to mention a couple of things. One is the other actor is Shep Sanders, who's a veteran actor. He's amazing, and he also served in World War II. He was too young, but he served in World War II, and he plays a World War II vet whose character is based heavily on my late father. My parents have been snowbirds for decades, who came out from Missouri. My mom now lives in Palm Desert, and so do I. And the cast is just phenomenal. I had seen other readings of this play in various places, and this reading is a knockout, and it's because of Wendy and because of the actors. And to know that the desert has this amazing collection of talent, it's just thrilling, and I feel really lucky, and I feel like it was providential for me to end up in the desert because I'm having the time of my life. And,
well, it's also thrilling for the rest of us. I do want to mention that all 3 of us are members of the Palm Springs Women in Film and Television. And I'm so proud of the both of you with not only your background, but with this very, very special play that I think it's going to go on and appear in many places. I hope so. We're going to hear more about it. And we're so lucky that we have this available to us on December 19th.
Well, thank you. We hope so. And one thing we want to say is just how thrilled and honored we are that the USO agreed to let this be a benefit, because all of the people in the play have been touched by war, and it's not a play about war at all.
Right.
So it's a real, it's just a good thing to see so close to the holidays, because it's about relationships between people, and it's about their connections
and family. It's really about family and how families members interact, and how each of us experience some sort of low points in our lives and how we deal with it with other family members.
Absolutely.
But I got to tell you, it's really funny. There's a tremendous amount of comedy in the play.
It's
really
good
a
to
dramedy.
Emphasize that, right?
People were laughing. The whole
dramedy,
audience was.
Did you call it?
It's a
dramedy.
dramedy.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really a a drama with lots of comedy in it. People were laughing throughout the entire reading, and so it's really, there's a tremendous amount of humor. As Paula said, it's very humanistic. It's very warm and intimate. It's just a wonderful inside look at an American family.
And I do want to mention also, for those of you that are just tuning in, we are talking to Paula Kaplan and Wendy Gerard about the play Shades that will be appearing on December 19th at 2 p.m. at the Villa Portofino. It's a prize-winning show, and tickets are available. I think we should mention that it's only $7 to get in for advance tickets, and $10 at the door to hear the reading, and then only $30 for both the reading and the playwright supper. And the most important thing is that this is a benefit for the USO. The USO here in Palm Springs, the USO chapter, must raise its own funds. They do not get any support from national or international USO. So,
that's right.
That's very important.
They're totally dependent upon local donations and volunteers. So
let me give that phone number one more time, because that's what we're here to do today, is to get people out at 760-404-1778. Let them know you're coming. Let them know whether you want to stay for the supper.
And you can get more information about it, all the information you need, on my website, wendygerard.com. It's all there on the homepage.
Now, Paula, do you have a website as well?
I do, and it's Paula J. Kaplan. It's CAPLAN, paulajkaplan.net. And under events, there's information about this on there. And my Facebook page, Paula Joan Kaplan.
Oh, you got a Facebook page
Yes,
too, Wendy?
I do.
I think I'm the only one without a Facebook page.
Well, my daughter made me do it.
I think it's time I do it, but anyway. But, the other thing I want to talk about, too, quickly, is the fact that Paula is not only a writer and a teacher and everything else, but her background is as a clinical and research psychologist. And she did receive her degree from Radcliffe College, Harvard University, and her MA and PhD in psychology from Duke University. And she's currently an associate at Du Bois Institute and fellow at the Women in Public Policy program at the Kennedy School of Government. My goodness, again, I've got to have you on by yourself to talk about this background. So how does the psychology help you in your writing?
Oh, well, that is worth a whole other show. But I can say this. I think it's sort of the opposite way. It's that I've always been interested in people, and I was raised in a family that cherishes connection and relationships and just relishes them. And I think that's why I went into psychology. And frankly, I got to say, I learned more from my family and friends over the years than I did in my training program.
Isn't that something? I know what you mean by that. Well, I also want to mention, too, that certainly Wendy's got, again, a big background that we've got to talk about at another time, but she's got experience in behind the camera in production, direction, camera, sound, post-production, editing. She's a teacher as well. Am I reading this correctly, that you won 2 Emmy Awards?
No,
the shows
that I worked on, that I helped create one.
And what show was that?
Spaceship Earth, Our Global Environment, was nominated for 5 and won 2.
Well, that's pretty good.
And then I co-created a documentary short called Burning Down Tomorrow, which was nominated for an Academy Award.
Well, and you also produced award-winning PSAs for the United Nations. I mean, my goodness, you started at the age of 18 and became the youngest life member of the Actors Studio. Good heavens, girls, you are amazing.
And you know what, Jacqueline, she's also an acting teacher, and she's wonderful.
Yes.
And I hadn't taken acting classes. I'm an actor, too. I hadn't taken acting classes in a long, long time, and she is just phenomenal. She teaches in the desert. So everything just comes together so
well,
beautifully.
On all of these accolades, we're going to have to say goodbye. But people, I want you to go to the Villa Portofino and see this show, a benefit for the USO. And thank you, Wendy and Paula, for being here. I really appreciate it. We have to take a break now. Goodbye, girls.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline.
Bye, Paula.